Hi, MC Bling Daddy here, and welcome back to another segment of a series that explores using command blocks for high-level program coding. And this segment will continue last time, where we set up a loop to set up our loop to execute some pre-commands using an entry point that we can call, rather than executing just starting at the loop, at the beginning of the loop, to set up some parameters or variables actually that are within the loop, that are used within the loop but don't need to be specified externally. And we also set up a loop termination point, an exit point, which in this case transported the player, namely me, to the location of the minecart, so that I and you could see what work had been done. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to set up execution starting here that allows us to execute various parameters, various ways of executing this loop by getting into the loop entry and continuing to the loop exit, but specifying in the loop exit where we're going to come back. So we start up, for example, here with our setting up one of our parameters, an objective called add. In this case, the number 2 says extend out in the x direction, positive x direction. Okay, so that's going to be the first execution of the loop. But now, in order to get back here, what we have to do is we have to tell it what it's going to do when it finishes. And what it's going to do when it finishes is it's going to return execution to this entity, this minecart with command block. And let's take a look and see what this entity is named. So entity, if only I could spell right, entity data. The entity will actually pick up me too, of course. Within a radius of 2, so that's the only entity that it can pick up. And here we're just saying, tell us what all there is that has been specified as properties of this entity. So here we have, of course, MC Bling Daddy is a player. It cannot be changed there at the top. But if you go down 4 rows below that, you'll see custom name and main reentry 1. So what we have, or what we will do, is we'll tell the exit of the loop, come back to main entry 1. And of course it does that by setting a torch next to it to continue the execution of these additional blocks. Then in these additional blocks, we have now to, we start off with changing the direction to execute in the z direction, the positive z direction. That's what the 1 means. And to come back, what we want to do is we want to come back to another re-entry point. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. And this one, if you'll notice, 4 lines down, custom name main re-entry 2. So what will happen is that'll go away, is that a torch will be placed here to continue the execution. And then finally, I'm not going to show it, but we have another set for the exit from the loop. And we say don't do anything because the loop will be over. The loop executions will be over at that point. So how do we set up that loop exit? That's the question, and the answer is right here. So the first time through, before we execute the loop, we set up the entity data, the properties of the loop exit. This is the first part. We say what entity we are going to change. Okay, what do we change it to? Well, we're changing the command within the loop exit. And what is that command? That is to set a redstone torch. Okay, but now we have to specify where the redstone torch is going to go. And that is right here. Okay, as we saw where that minecart command block was, main reentry 1. this is where we're telling it to put the torch. So we have to change the loop exits command, and we do that in code with a command, and this is it. Okay, so that's the first change. The second change, after the loop comes back, we will change the loop exit command again, and in this case, what we will do is we'll say put a redstone torch down, but we are going to put it down at the second minecart command block, main reentry 2. And then, of course, the torch will cause execution of the remainder of the blocks. Okay, so that's how the execution occurs and how we change where the minecart command block here, where it changes execution, where it resets the redstone torch to continue execution at a different location. So what we have to do then is we have to get things started, and we do that with this button. Let's see if we can actually see some of the things that happen. I'm trying to see if I can get into a position that will let us see the torches being placed. You know, not a very good place here. I'll just have to see if I can find someplace. So let's start the execution the first time through the loop. We probably won't be able to see too much, but hopefully we'll be able to see the redstone torch set for the continuation of this string of command blocks. So let's come back here and see if we can see a torch being placed after this loop executes. And oh, it flashed, but we really didn't see much. I could see the there we go, the redstone don't move the minecart. Okay, so we saw, though, the execution, the effect of the execution. We didn't actually see the redstone torches being placed, but we did see that there was a consequence with the repeater actually being activated. So this time, let's take a look and see. We're just going to run it over again. We've extended the minecart, you can see out there from the origin. The parameters were set not to go quite so far, but what we're going to do is run this again. You'll be able to see, as we did last time, the gate light up, the gate signal light up. That will be basically to this torch at the top here, which will turn off. As it does here in our initial and, you'll see those turn off. It should go, well, let's see, what have we got here? We're going to repeat 3 times. So you should see it go 3 times, and then the 4th time, this torch on the right will have been on, because our signal that says that we need to run the loop will have been on, but it will go off. And that signals the end of our loop. Okay, so let's take a look. And there we go. Well, didn't quite have the effect that I wanted. Okay, so there's our gate. Gate, with the torch off. Torch goes back on. Gate, and torch off. Gate, and gate, and torch off. And of course, each time that torch goes off, the command in the loop exit gets executed, and so we start off a different direction. Okay, well, let's just go take a look. So here we ended up at the end of our first execution. It kind of looks like the rails kind of got broken when we started off the second time. And then for the second execution, we did the same thing, and we ended up kind of overlapping a previous segment's run, because I haven't gotten rid of those rails that were set there before when I changed the minecart back to the origin here. Well, that's the basic lesson for today, is how to use a command to change a command in another block and allow us to set up a series of commands that change execution, that transfer execution, that's the word I was looking for, transfer execution to the loop and allow the loop to come back at a specific place. And then change execution of the loop exit again, with reentry in a different place, and so on. So that's the main lesson for today, is changing commands with commands. And that's about it for now. Thanks for watching.